Let's ambush you with this question.
I am an ambushment.
My name is Ewura Adams Karim. I don't know how to introduce I'm a multi-socket. I do a lot of things.
I like that. It sounds so tall.
Yeah, I do a lot of things, so I'm not going to go into specifics. But how would you get forward?
Give them the background.
I just think it's a strategic positioning. So in 2018, I decided to start a non-profit back in my hometown because I realized there was a huge gap in terms of employment between men and women. And men mostly having access to most of the opportunities, including land, and women not having access to land, not having access to capital and finances, and even the skill, to do whatever it is that they wanted to do on the farms. And so you would get them always going to farm with their husbands, and the goal is just to go support the man. And at the end of the day, they have nothing to themselves, right? And so I decided that why don't we change that perspective and try and empower the woman to be a farmer, in her own capacity, so that at the end of the day, whatever the yields she gets from the farm becomes hers. She can take care of her basic needs, she can take care of the needs of her children, and also take care of the needs of the house. Because anybody here from the north, especially rural part of Ghana, knows that all the man will do when he marries you is give you a bag of maize at the end of the month, or every 2 months, and that's all. How you make the soup, how you get meat inside the soup, he doesn't give a damn, right? And if he comes and there's no meat in the soup, there's trouble. So realize that most of the challenges that women face has a root cause, which is unemployment. And so we needed to check that. So one of the first initiatives we decided to introduce was the Women in Agric project. And this is in relation to my non-profit. It's called Maltiti Foundation, Maltiti. So we decided to start a Women in Agric project with the main goal of economically empowering women through agriculture. When we started, it was difficult getting funding from every corner. And I understood that, once you start anything, you need to first of all be the first investor. So that's one lesson you should learn. Do not expect someone to come and give you money from the onset. Start investing in your own business. So we started putting in our own money. We spent a lot of money, possibly about 100,000 plus. That's from 2018, 2019. Running the same project, we started seeing improvements, in the life of the women. Some of them started putting their proceeds, to buy sewing machines, to start their own, tailoring businesses. Some of them, got tabletops, started selling stuff. Some would use the little proceeds they had to buy more food stuff, stock, and sell during the off season. And these were all ideas that we gave them. And so sometime in 2020, I got an email from the marketing lead for Ford in South Africa. And she said that they were going through Instagram, looking for an organization they could partner with in Ghana to run a project for women, particularly that will tackle post-COVID, challenges that women are likely to face. And they saw some of the good stuff we're doing. They checked our website, and would love for us to present a proposal that they would consider. So okay, there are a lot of proposals in mind. So I prepared two, sent them a first one, obviously with a very huge budget of about $2 million, which they said was quite high, and so they opted for the second one, which was the Women in Agric project. And why did they do that? One, because we had prior experience in running the project, because we started running it since 2018. Two, because the budget we gave them for Women in Agric to train 200 women was too good to be true. I don't know if you're getting my point. Because obviously there are lots of non-profits that would give you budget for a similar project that will run into huge sums of dollars. But we gave them a very realistic budget, if you ask me. Because we had done it before, we had the experience. This wasn't the time we were going to start. We knew the prices offhand, and we had very limited time to put everything together. I mentioned that they got in touch with us in December, They wanted us to have the money by the end of December so we could start the project in December. So the money 25th December, start the project. You get it? But then obviously you have to take time because if you're going to send the money, the banks will delay you and all of that. And so they scheduled a meeting. Just after the email, I responded quickly. I was in town driving, and then we did the meeting in my car. But I already knew my stuff off head, and so I just kept feeding them. So they asked, "How about this? How about this? Do you have this document? Oh, sure, why not? Do you have this document? Yes, I do. Do you have that document?" Every single document, as far as my organization is concerned, is on my phone. Right? If it's not on this one, I'll find it on this one. And I have them in my Google Drive. It's about preparedness. Talk about the fact that if you're meeting McDonald right now, and he asks you, can you present this particular document to me? Are you ready to present it? Right? And those are the things investors are looking at. Because you've got to show the person that you mean business. So if you do not have the document, or if you do not have a 1-minute pitch of your idea in your head that you're ready to tell somebody, it will be really hard to get an investor. And for us, that was what got us to get Ford and to get the money to run this particular project. There's actually another grant we haven't talked about. Yes, we intentionally haven't talked about it, but maybe I could mention it here.
Please do.
Yeah, we've been running this particular project since November of last year as well. And this one was funded by Innovate UK. Right? We're doing partnership with 2 organizations in the UK. And then, so I think we and Save Our Beaches Ghana are the only 2 Ghanaian organizations that are on this particular project. And it was the same way. They also saw our website, loved the stuff, got in touch. We had every single document they were requesting for, and that was it. You get it? And these are the first external fundings that we are getting. But we are getting them because we prepared our books, made sure we had everything in place. And as Gilles mentioned, it's extremely important to have a board, because it serves as a check on you. And you don't just have just any board. You need to be very particular about the people you put on the board. You need to be extremely particular about the people you put on the board. What fields are they coming from? What experience do they? You've got to diversify. You need to have, a board with people from different backgrounds, right? Then obviously the female representation. I'm the only male on my board, right? I'm the only male on the board. In the entire organization, I think we're just 3 males. A man, because most of the investors today, most of the funders are looking at funding initiatives geared towards women. So even if the project is not geared towards women in itself, the people that are running things should be women. So on my board, I'm just a member. Well, not yet who found out. But I'm just a member. And it's all strategic for you to be able to get those opportunities. So yes, you need to be prepared, position yourself strategically. And this one thing, let me mention it before I hand over the mic. If I remember anything, I talk about it. You need to be intentional about publicity. Right? You need to be extremely intentional about publicity. Do not wait for whatever it is you're doing to make news to the people who are going to report the news before you become news. No. Make the news, create it yourself, and make sure it gets out there as news. So I would run a project, sit down in my room, write an article for publication, and send it across to media houses as news, and beg them to publish it on their sites for me. Even if it's just your friend's blog, your friend has created a blog, send it to them to publish. Because what that does to you is that when anybody wants to find out about your startup, all they need to do is go to Google and search. So today, if you type Maltiti Foundation in your Google search engine, you get a lot of hyperlinks that will lead you to different news articles. Funny enough, when Ford gave us the money, Ford paid for publicity. So, and I have Google Alert on my phone. So once my name is mentioned, or the name of my organization is mentioned, I get an alert via email. So I kept on getting notifications. I'm like, what is happening? I haven't written to these people, but apparently it was Ford that paid for the promotions. And it's everywhere. So you need to do that as well with your startup. And if you mosquito bites you and it's in relation to your startup, write about it and put it online. It's extremely important. It helps with marketing. You may not see the importance today, but someday you see. In fact, I traveled to the US. So after I went back again to the US, and I was held up, by Homeland Security for a while because I was trying Componte. I was trying Componte. And there was that conversation. I said, "Oh, it's just fun. You can check it." Okay, so who are you? What do you do? And then I mentioned my name. And then quickly, the next thing she did was Google. Oh, okay, you run a non-profit in Ghana. Yeah, and that was it. Oh, we're so sorry. Then I left. If I had not done intentional publicity, when would Joy or City or right find out about me? Ghana Web will post for you for free. Modern Ghana will post for you for free. You don't have to give anybody money. Just make sure you write it. Whatever you have written is not against anybody. It is true. They can authenticate it. Send it to the editor via email. He will read it. If there are grammatical errors, he will correct it and publish it and send you an email with a link to whatever news item it is. So intentional publicity is very important. Sometimes just spend a few dollars to promote some of your stuff on social media. It also goes far. There's another money in the pipeline, but I won't talk about it till I get it.
Wonderful.